The walls are pretty thin, so I could hear, people screaming, 다리가 부러졌습니다, 팔이 부러졌습니다. It's like my legs are broken, my leg is broken, my arm is broken, please stop. They're beating you, they're interrogating me. I was interrogated for hours and I was 15. In the detention center, I was only allowed to eat 150 kernels of corn per day. One morning, we are marching in our rows and to our work site. And I saw a dry vomit on the road. I was so hungry that I got up my hands and knees and began picking the rice out of the vomit. I didn't stop eating the vomited rice until the beating from the guards were too unbearable. To be standing here overlooking Los Angeles and drinking $15 a bottle water, I don't think life can get any better than this. Proving me wrong. Maybe I could get better. We're going to overlook the entire LA. I would assume there's a lot of lights. Hopefully I get to see like skyscrapers. Just right in there. We have arrived to the Mulholland Drive? Mulholland Drive. And we got the expensive bottle of water. This is just the water. This is not vodka. There is an expression in Korean like 가슴이 펑 뚫린다, stress relieving in a way. Right now, just looking at the city, it just helps me realize that I've actually made it. Like I'm here. I'm thankful. I'm present. When I first escaped North Korea, I got captured and I was sent back to North Korea. Ended up being in the interrogation room the entire time. The walls are pretty thin, so I could hear people screaming and they're screaming and saying that 다리가 부러졌습니다, 팔이 부러졌습니다. It's like my legs are broken, my leg is broken, my arm is broken, please stop. And
why? What are they doing in the detention centers?
They're asking why people escaped North Korea in the first place, to make sure to thoroughly vet if they were trying to escape to South Korea. And they're beating you, they're interrogating me. I was interrogated for hours, and I got beaten for days. And thankfully I was 15. Yeah, I was transferred to the North Korean defectors detention center. It's called Chongjin 도집결소. So I ended up there for about 9 months. In the detention center, I was only allowed to eat 150 kernels of corn per day, 50 per meal. One morning, we are marching in our rows and to our work site, and I saw a dry vomit on the road. And I was so hungry that I got up my hands and knees and began picking the rice out of the vomit. I didn't stop eating the vomited rice until the beating from the guards were too unbearable. And the conditions in there is just absolutely horrible. There was no blankets, there was no shampoos, there is no soap. Don't even get me started on the toilet papers. There is no toilet papers. 9 months later, they finally let me go because I was malnourished. I could not even stand up or even lift my arm. When you're malnourished, you can actually measure that with your fist. When you stand close and you can actually fit in your hands right through your legs, that's how you measure the malnourished. Both hands could fit in to my leg. As soon as I got to my half brother's house, my half brother shaved my head because there are lice. Not exaggerating, 4 lice on each strand of hair. And he burned my clothes in the fire, and I could hear pops because of the lice eggs, right? I decided I'm gonna survive here. I'm gonna do whatever I need to do to survive, such as eating mice, raw mice, and picking up corn out of my own poop, or eating dry vomit. It sometimes feels like a bad nightmare. I still have nightmares when I wake up and my bed is wet with sweat, my pillow is wet, and I wake up and I'm shaken while I'm dreaming. I'm dreaming of either I'm back in North Korea and I'm trying to get back to America, or I'm running away from the guards in North Korea. And I still have trauma. I do feel that I'm blessed in a way to have my personality, smiling and upbeat and those kind of personalities. But to a certain extent, like I do recognize that, yeah, I have trauma from those kind of experiences, and I need to learn to heal from it. And one of the ways that I, came to cope with that kind of trauma was to share my story. In that 집결소, in the detention center, like there is probably somebody who's going through the same experience that I went through, right? And it's happening as we speak now. And again, like my story is unique, but definitely not uncommon. I have a friend who resided in America with me, and he witnessed his father getting murdered when he was a child because his father stole a cow from the military base, and then the military came to his house and then beat him to death, and he had to watch that.
What does living in America mean to you?
Above all else, I would say, I mean, this might seem very cliche to you, to some audience, but freedom, right? Like, again, like I mentioned earlier, like you can get into your car and you can drive wherever you want to go. You can, if you can afford it. Living in America, it means a lot to me because, well, I've given a second chance at life. I was able to accomplish a lot within 13 years of my life in America, and I'm grateful for the freedom that I have here in terms of like what I want to do with my life. We have laws that are protecting those kind of moments, so I am appreciative of that. From a homeless kid in North Korea, a kid who was working in a coal mine, to a software engineer in America, and to a CEO, I think that's really good. I'm CEO. I have an LLC. I'm grateful for that. To be standing here overlooking Los Angeles, California, and drinking $15 a bottle water. Yeah, I don't think life can get any better than this. Prove me wrong. Maybe I could get better. Maybe less cold, but I'm spoiled.
Oh my goodness. Wow. How'd you end up in Santa Barbara?
My wife, yeah. Her families are from Santa Barbara. There was one point in my life where I couldn't pay my rent in America. While we were dating, my wife actually gathered a lot of money from her church friends and then paid my rent for 3 months. It's like $15 water right here. I prefer North Korean water. Do you want to try? Here, give it a try.
Let the audience know that this is water, not wine.
Oh yes. What do you think?
It's water.
It's water. Is there like electrolytes or like a form of chemicals in there, or?
No, it's water.
It's water. When I was in North Korea, like I was taught that Americans are evil. You see this kind of like cartoons, right? And they're trying to demonize, so they overly exaggerate their looks and their personalities and behaviors. To a certain extent, I thought all Americans look like werewolves with like long nose and beard. When I first came to America, I was like, these people are beautiful. Sometimes I felt like I didn't belong here in a way. Homesick too was a real thing. Like I wanted to go back to North Korea. Like I miss North Korea so much. When I first got into a real car, taxi cab, and I felt like a king. My foster parents took me to Ross, Dress for Less, Ross, and it hit me, and I was like, I'm going on a shopping in a car. And she's white, but she speaks perfect Korean. I say that I live a far better life than any, upper class, like elites in North Korea, right? Because I drive my own car. I have a full-time job, right? I have a roof over my head. I have freedom, right? Most importantly, like I can speak whatever I want. I can, drive anywhere I want. Definitely, I'm living a far better life than, probably Kim Jong-un himself, maybe.